6 brutal Stoic truths that will make you cry, but it will finally set you free. Stoicism. Introduction. There are some truths that feel like medicine. They hurt when you swallow them. They make you uncomfortable. They force you to look at yourself, your relationships, your failures, your fears, and the things you have been desperately trying to avoid. But sometimes the truth that hurts you the most is the very truth that sets you free. Welcome back to the channel. Before we begin, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, and stay until the end, because these 6 Stoic truths are not designed to make you feel comfortable. They are designed to make you stronger. The ancient Stoics understood something most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control what you become because of it. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus did not teach people how to escape suffering. They taught people how to face reality without allowing reality to destroy them. And today, we are going to confront 6 brutal truths. Some of them may remind you of someone. Some may remind you of your past. And 1 or 2 may force you to look directly into the mirror. But if you can accept them, you will become lighter. You will stop chasing. You will stop begging. You will stop trying to control people. And most importantly, you will stop giving your peace away. Let's begin. Truth 1. Some people will never give you the closure you deserve. This is one of the hardest truths to accept. Sometimes you will never receive an apology. Sometimes the person who hurt you will never understand what they did. Sometimes they will move on as if nothing happened while you are left trying to understand everything. You may spend months asking, why did they do this? Why did they change? Why wasn't I enough? Why did they treat me like I meant nothing? And you keep searching for an explanation because you believe that understanding their behavior will finally give you peace. But here is the brutal truth. Your peace cannot depend on someone else's explanation. You may never get the apology. You may never get the phone call. You may never hear the words you desperately wanted to hear. And if you spend your life waiting for someone else to give you closure, you are allowing that person to control your emotional life long after they have left it. The Stoics would tell you to separate what is within your control from what is not. Their apology is not yours to control. Their understanding is not yours to control. Their regret is not yours to control. But your response is yours. You can say, I may never understand why they did it, but I understand that I deserve peace. That is closure. Closure is not always something another person gives you. Sometimes closure is a decision you make. You decide that the chapter is over. You stop rereading the messages. You stop checking their social media. You stop imagining conversations that will probably never happen. You stop waiting for them to become the person you hoped they would be. And you move forward. Not because it didn't hurt, but because you finally understand that your future deserves more attention than your past. Truth 2. You cannot make everyone love, respect, or understand you. This truth can destroy your ego, but it can also liberate you. You could be kind, honest, generous, loyal, patient, and still be disliked. You could help someone and they could still criticize you. You could tell the truth and someone could still call you a liar. You could walk away from an argument and someone could call you weak. You could become successful and someone could still say you don't deserve it. Why? Because people do not see you only through your actions. They see you through their own experiences, expectations, insecurities, prejudices, and desires. That means you could spend your entire life trying to control how people perceive you, and still fail. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus emphasized that we should not build our lives around the opinions of others. Think about how much energy people waste trying to be understood. You explain yourself. Then you explain your explanation. Then you try to prove your intentions. Then you become frustrated because someone still doesn't understand you. At some point you have to stop. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone will understand your journey. And not everyone needs to approve of your decisions. Ask yourself, if I knew nobody would judge me, what would I do differently? Maybe you would leave a toxic relationship. Maybe you would start that business. Maybe you would stop chasing someone. Maybe you would finally pursue your dream. Maybe you would simply become comfortable being yourself. The moment you stop needing everyone's approval, something incredible happens. You become free. You stop performing. You stop pretending. You stop changing yourself to fit into rooms that were never meant for you. And you discover something powerful. Being misunderstood is sometimes the price of being authentic. Let people talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them create their own version of you. Your responsibility is not to control their opinion. Your responsibility is to control your character. Truth 3. You are going to lose people you love. This may be the most painful truth of all. Everything you love is temporary. People change. Relationships end. Friends move away. Parents grow older. Children grow up. People you once spoke to every day can eventually become strangers. And one day, everyone you know will eventually leave this world. The Stoics called this awareness of mortality memento mori. Remember that you will die. But this idea was not meant to make you depressed. It was meant to make you appreciate life. When you understand that something is temporary, you stop taking it for granted. You listen more carefully. You hug longer. You forgive faster. You stop wasting precious moments on meaningless arguments. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that someone you love is no longer here. Suddenly, the argument from yesterday doesn't matter. The message you refused to answer doesn't matter. The petty disagreement doesn't matter. The ego doesn't matter. What matters is that you had the opportunity to love, and you used it. So don't wait until loss teaches you the value of what you already have. Tell people you love them. Spend time with them. Put your phone down. Listen. Be present. Because one of the greatest tragedies in life is not losing someone. It is having someone while they are still here and behaving as though you have forever. You don't have forever. Neither do they. So appreciate them now. And when someone eventually leaves your life, remember. Their departure does not erase the value of the time you shared. Some people are chapters. Some are paragraphs. Some are entire books. But every chapter eventually ends. And the fact that something ended does not mean it was meaningless. Truth 4. Your life will not change until you take responsibility for it. This truth is painful because it removes excuses. It is easy to blame your childhood, your parents, your partner, your friends, your government, your boss, your circumstances, your failures, your past. And sometimes those things genuinely hurt you. You may have experienced things you never deserved. But there is a difference between acknowledging what happened to you and allowing what happened to you to control the rest of your life. The Stoics believe that while you may not control circumstances, you control how you respond to them. You cannot change yesterday. You cannot rewrite your childhood. You cannot undo the betrayal. You cannot erase the failure. But you can decide what happens next. This is where your power begins. Stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" Start asking, "What can I do with what happened to me?" That question changes everything. Maybe you lost money. Learn. Maybe someone betrayed you. Become wiser about trust. Maybe you failed. Improve your skills. Maybe someone rejected you. Build yourself instead of begging for acceptance. Maybe your life is currently difficult. Then become disciplined enough to survive the difficulty. You don't need to pretend that pain doesn't exist. You need to stop allowing pain to become your identity. You are not your worst day. You are not your biggest failure. You are not the rejection. You are not the betrayal. You are the person who decides what happens next. And once you understand that, you stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You start rescuing yourself. Truth 5. You will never be happy if you keep chasing what you cannot control. Think about how much of your anxiety comes from things you cannot control. What someone thinks about you. Whether someone likes you. Whether someone stays. Whether someone chooses you. What happened yesterday. What might happen tomorrow. Whether someone recognizes your effort. Whether life gives you exactly what you want. You can spend an entire lifetime worrying about these things. And the tragedy is that worry does not give you control. It only steals your present. The Stoics created a simple mental discipline. Separate life into two categories. What you can control and what you cannot control. You can control your effort. You can control your choices. You can control your discipline. You can control your words. You can control your response. You cannot control another person's feelings. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the past. You cannot control someone's decision to leave. You cannot control whether everyone appreciates you. So why spend your precious energy there? Imagine standing at the ocean and screaming at the waves because they refuse to obey you. It would be ridiculous. Yet people do something similar every day. They become angry because reality refuses to behave according to their expectations. But reality doesn't owe you obedience. Life will sometimes give you what you want. Sometimes it won't. Your job is not to demand that life become exactly what you imagined. Your job is to become strong enough to handle whatever life gives you. That is Stoicism. Not emotional numbness. Not pretending you don't care. But developing the strength to say, I will do everything within my power. And I will peacefully accept what is beyond it. That mindset can remove an enormous amount of anxiety from your life. Truth 6. One day, you will realize that you wasted too much time caring about things that didn't matter. This is the truth that may make you cry. Because one day, you will look back. And you will realize how much time you spent worrying. You worried about people who barely remembered you. You worried about opinions that changed overnight. You were afraid of embarrassment. You were afraid of rejection. You were afraid of failure. You spent hours replaying conversations. You spent days wondering what someone meant. You spent months waiting for someone to choose you. You spent years trying to prove yourself. And then suddenly you realize. Life was happening while you were worrying about living it correctly. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself of the brevity of life. Not because he hated life. Because he understood how precious it was. You don't know how much time you have. That is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to wake you up. If you knew you had 1 year left, would you spend so much time arguing with strangers online? Would you still chase someone who doesn't value you? Would you still spend your evenings comparing your life to somebody else's? Would you still be afraid to begin? Would you still care so much about what people think? Probably not. So why wait for a final deadline to start living differently? Start now. Call the person you love. Forgive someone. Walk away from what destroys your peace. Start the project. Learn the skill. Take care of your body. Read the book. Build the life. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment does not exist. There is only this moment. And this moment is your life. The Stoic way forward. So what do you do with these 6 brutal truths? You don't simply listen to them. You practice them. When someone refuses to give you closure, give yourself closure. When someone doesn't understand you, stop begging to be understood. When you realize someone is temporary, appreciate them while they're here. When life hurts you, take responsibility for what happens next. When something is outside your control, release your grip. And when you realize life is short, stop wasting it. The goal of Stoicism is not to become cold. It is to become free. Free from unnecessary anger. Free from desperate attachment. Free from the opinions of strangers. Free from the need to control everything. Free from constantly fighting reality. The Stoic does not say, nothing hurts me. The Stoic says, it hurts, but it will not control me. The Stoic does not say, I don't care about people. The Stoic says, I love people, but I understand that I cannot possess them. The Stoic does not say, I never fail. The Stoic says, failure is information. I will learn and continue. And the Stoic does not say, life is always fair. The Stoic says, whatever happens, I will meet it with courage. Final message. Maybe you're watching this because you're going through something right now. Maybe someone left you. Maybe someone betrayed you. Maybe you're tired of being misunderstood. Maybe you're struggling financially. Maybe you're disappointed with yourself. Maybe you're carrying pain that nobody knows about. If that's you, remember this. You don't have to have everything figured out today. You only need to take the next right step. You don't need to control the entire future. You only need to control what you do today. You don't need everyone to understand you. You only need to understand who you are becoming. And you don't need to erase your pain. You need to transform it. One day, you may look back at this difficult season and realize that it was not destroying you. It was preparing you. The rejection taught you independence. The betrayal taught you discernment. The loneliness taught you self-reliance. The failure taught you humility. The heartbreak taught you that you can survive without someone. And the pain taught you what truly matters. So don't waste your suffering. Learn from it. Grow from it. Become stronger because of it. And when life takes something away from you, don't immediately ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That question can change your life. Because eventually you will understand. The goal was never to avoid pain. The goal was to become the kind of person who could walk through pain without losing himself. That is freedom. That is strength. That is Stoicism. And perhaps the most important truth of all is this. You cannot always choose what happens to you. But you can choose who you become afterward. So dry your tears. Stand up. Take a breath. Release what you cannot control. Forgive what you cannot change. Accept what you cannot reverse. And walk forward. Quietly. Calmly. With dignity. Because your story is not over. And the chapter that broke you may become the chapter that finally set you free. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who may need to hear it. And if you want more powerful Stoic lessons to help you build a stronger mind and a calmer life, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Until next time, remember, control your mind, accept reality, master yourself, and never surrender your peace.